Hello and welcome back to Behind the Greatness podcast. I'm Mona, and today we have a very special guest, Sherif ElOgeiry.
Hello, hi Mona, how are you?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to be with you. Thank you very much.
Do you mind giving me a brief introduction about yourself and what it is that you do in Daikin?
My name is Sherif ElOgeiry. I'm the general manager for HR and general affairs with Daikin Middle East and Africa, and I've been working with the company for the last 7+ years. Fantastic journey. And I believe that Daikin is a great company. Obviously, that's why we're talking today. In addition to being an HR professional, I'm also a sociology researcher, and I'm trying to use the best out of the two worlds to blend them together to help me in my job as an HR professional. And it's working very well so far.
I'm sure it is. I'm
Yeah.
sure it is very beautiful to merge these two worlds together.
Yes, it's
Yes.
really interesting. Yeah.
Very interesting. So, Daikin, what an amazing success. You're doing 100-year anniversary.
Yes, that's true.
Very special.
Yeah. It
Tell
is.
us about it.
I think that it's very special, as you mentioned. Not a lot of companies actually achieve this kind of milestone. Daikin was founded in 1924, and it's a long journey of so many things that happened over all those years. Everything changed, everything evolved, starting from the products, the strategy, the people, and we are really proud. We had a big celebration to celebrate the 100-year milestone.
And we're proud to be part of it. So tell us
Thank-
about the recognition. Why did you choose to get certified by Great Place to Work?
I think when the idea started to participate in the Great Place to Work survey, our main purpose was let's try to find an international benchmark, some kind of measurement in order to see how are we doing when it comes to culture management, how the workplace culture can be assessed based on very clear benchmark and guidelines. And you guys being the global authority that takes care of this kind of culture of workplace management, you have the international standards, and that's why we wanted to assess ourselves based on that. What we did not expect is that we will get certified from the first time.
Congratulations.
And when I say we, I'm talking about not only me or HR or the management, but even the employees of the company. And I think that one of the reasons why it was a surprise was that when we started this, we were really discreet. We didn't come up with a huge campaign. We didn't push our employees to take part in this. We just told them that we have this survey. We would like to assess our culture, and please be open and honest. And we asked for candor. And because of this, most of our employees, they spoke about what to improve as well. So in their mind, in the mind of employees, they wrote everything that they feel we need to work on this to improve. These are the gaps that we have. What we did not realize is that equally, there's a lot of positive points, and you can, of course, we got certified because what matters to the employees on answering the questions when it comes to the culture showed how they love the company and want to stay with the company. So the engagement was there, although there was a candor when it comes to mentioning what are the problems to work on.
So what I'm hearing is a lot of transparency and trust and opening up with your employees.
Yes, I think this is how it started, and I believe that this is how we got here.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a starting of a new journey, or the existing journey, but building on to what you've already heard from your employees. What would you say is very unique that stood out from the Trust Index survey?
Yeah. That's a good question. Thank you, Mona. I think if you look at the survey results, you will realize that there is this uniqueness about how employees feel about the management. Because the management of the company is approaching their leadership roles in a way that is very open. We have, even when it comes to the setup, we have an open space office. Nice. And even the separate individual offices have open door policy. Our management is very approachable. People can talk to anyone in the management team at any level, at any time. And being approachable, treating people with respect is key. This is one of the things that I believe led employees to mention or to score high on whatever has to do with the management, with the trust in management, with being approachable and all of this. Another thing is when companies say we treat our employees with respect and they are our family, we do this, but we also show it. It's not really a tick in the box or something that we hang on the wall. We treat our employees as family members. And I think that we spoke about the 100-year legacy of Daikin. Part of the uniqueness that we have is the heritage that we have from the Japanese culture. And part of it is how you treat your employees as family members and really care for them. This is reflected in a big number of processes and activities in the organization.
Wow, fantastic. Can you give me an example that means something special to you?
I think since we're talking about this, I remember one clear example of how we took care of our people during the pandemic. When COVID-19 was disrupting the business everywhere. Of course, a lot of companies started to take actions and drastic measures, and unfortunately, some of them were about cutting the cost of labor, letting people go. I remember what we did as a leadership team. We had a meeting and we decided that we have to draw a strategy. And I still remember that we drew this strategy in the form of a pyramid. Okay. So I'm Egyptian, so I always use the pyramid when it comes to explaining things. And with this pyramid, there were different levels of how the situation is drastic. And what we agreed on is at each level of risk, we will take some action. So the higher you go in the pyramid, the more drastic actions you take. And I remember that all the way up to the top of the pyramid, there was no action that said that you will get rid of anyone or terminate the services of any employees. There were things like, let's save the cost on training. It's not important this year. Let's save the cost on traveling because anyways, it's not going to be practical during the pandemic. Many things we were able to cut from, but we did not touch employees or their compensation. And I feel very proud that we were able to manage. Even the business results were not affected that year. So it is really possible to treat your people as family without really affecting the business. That was one big example.
So you actually took care of the people first.
Yes.
And then you worked on the other areas in the organization to cut costs from.
Exactly.
Okay.
And if I may say also, Mona, if you look at the years to come after the pandemic, our growth was unbelievable. We kept growing probably for the next 3 years after the pandemic. We made a very, very exceptional growth. And I would say that part of it, we didn't really analyze at the time, but you can tell that what we have done with the employees in the pandemic is also something that motivated people to engage more and exert more effort in the business.
And that must lead you to the sense of pride for Daikin. I mean, your employees
big
must...
time. Yeah,
okay.
Big time. I think even when you look at the survey, I think the very high score of how proud people feel reflects this reality. And I would say that it really helps us as well, because when people feel so proud, it means that they are very engaged. And engagement can be simply defined in 3 verbs: say, stay, and strive. So when people are engaged, they would always say positive and good things about the organization. They will think twice before deciding to leave the company. So retention increases. And everyone will strive for excellence, to do more, to exert more effort, to make it a better company. And I think that this is the impact of this feeling of being proud on the business. In addition to this, apart from existing employees, I think this helps us a lot in building the right employer branding that will help us attract top talent from the market also.
So, in terms of that sense of pride, what would you work on with the mid-level managers to enrich them and support them?
That's also a good question, because when we looked at the analysis of the all the results, we also realized that we need to work more with the mid-level managers. At the end of the day, these are the successors of the more senior people in the organization. And when, if I would give an advice to those guys, in general, the biggest advice I always give to anyone is, you really have to love what you're doing. This is very important. If you love what you do, you're going to have fun. You're going to wake up in the morning eager to come to the office, and you're going to excel in what you're doing. This is very important. It might sound very like a very simple advice, but a lot of people are taking it as a job that gives me money for my life commitment, and it doesn't matter whether I'm happy or not. It doesn't matter whether I like the people I work with or not. I disagree on this. I think that it makes a big difference when you work with people that you at least understand and who understand you. When you love your job and you exert more effort. Most importantly, having personal responsibility for developing yourself. So for the middle managers, they have to have the drive to develop themselves. Recently also, we saw a lot of those managers trying to get qualified, get certifications, pay for their own education, even without asking help or support from the company. And I think this is a very positive sign that they really want to develop themselves. Finally, I would say that for anyone who has a job anywhere, what you do tells something about your own standards.
Okay.
So do you really want to show that your output has low standards? As a person, at least become selfish to show that you can do something that is exceptional. Talk about high standards, work for high standards, and this will also affect your life in general, not only in the workplace.
So prove what you're capable of doing. And as Daikin has created that kind of environment, you said you have that family
Yes,
spirit going
yes,
on. So
definitely.
take importance into the relationship with people and have fun with it as well.
Exactly, exactly. We do have three main values, and one of them is building a positive, harmonious relationship with the others in the team. So this is very key, and it's one of the criteria if you really want to feel how it is to work for Daikin.
Okay,
Yeah,
fantastic. Fantastic.
thanks.
And how is the, I would say, the relationships like?
Yeah,
So you're saying you have open door
yeah,
policies, and one of the things of the statements is management is honest and ethical in its business practices.
yes.
So are people looking up to the management? What is the relationships like?
I think there's a friendly working environment
Okay.
in general. Of course, there are meetings. People challenge each other sometimes. It is important also to have all the opinions around the table, because otherwise, there's no point having the diversity that we have in the company. We have currently we have around 43 nationalities working for Daikin in the Middle East, and this is a very strong, diverse team. One of the things that are that is really unique about Daikin, Mona, is when we decide to take a decision, we also talk together as a team, and we get the input from different people. There is a kind of an alignment or a consensus process. This is also a bit of a Japanese heritage that we have in the culture that makes us unique. In Japanese, it is called nemawashi, which is getting everyone's consensus and input on a certain big decision before actually taking it. So all of this brings more solidarity for the whole team.
So, bringing people together and having consensus is not something I've heard often.
Yeah,
How challenging is that, and what are the outcomes of it as well?
that's a very good question, because people are not the same. And I always say that some people underestimate the job of HR. I think it's a very complicated job because it's not about numbers, really. It's more about human nature. And this is something that keeps changing, keeps evolving. People are not the same, especially in a multicultural organization like Daikin or a very cosmopolitan environment like the one that we live in Dubai, which is a bliss. You get exposed to different cultures. You learn from people who are doing things differently. But what you need to do, Mona, in order to make sure that people speak the same language is to have a single umbrella. Now, if you have 43 nationalities, you cannot let people talk in their own languages, for example. Then no one will understand anyone else. But if you have one umbrella, in our case, we call it Daikin philosophy. These are 6 different statements that entails what kind of behavior is expected from each one of us in the company. Then at least you put some guidelines for the main principles. People will be doing the same thing, behaving in the same way when it comes to these principles. And this is the philosophy that we will embed. And then this is what we will use even while we're challenging each other if we don't have the same opinion. Then you speak the same language and things will become better when it comes to consensus.
Oh, fantastic. So there's sort of like ground rules to follow.
Exactly. You can call it ground rules.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
It is. It is. Yeah.
So when you have people in the room and you have this environment of all these nationalities,
Yeah.
of course, talent becomes an issue,
Yes.
retaining the top talent.
Yes.
So what would you do in terms of like, what are you currently doing in the onboarding process, retaining your talent?
Yes.
What are the stories there?
Yeah, that's also a very good question. We have a very good talent management framework that has evolved over the years. Again, when I say 100-year journey for Daikin, we also have our own journey in Daikin, Middle East and Africa, where HR has evolved from being administrative and operational to being more strategic, now with a completely different structure, whereby we have center of expertise, people who design and come up with the strategies. And we have HR business partners who work very closely on the ground. They manage HR for the business in different locations. So we have a strong structure now that looks after strategy and operational HR issues. Within the talent management framework, we do conduct our talent reviews and we talk about everyone in the organization. But of course, when it comes to motivating and making sure that we treat our high potential people the way they should be treated, sometimes culture comes into the play, and you need to make sure that you're doing things in a way that will really push people, not push people, push maybe it's not the right word, motivate people to do the right thing. Let me go back to your question on recruitment and onboarding. The way we recruit people is a bit different maybe than most of the other companies, because take the interview process, for example. Usually it's tense. If a candidate goes to an interview with a company, you can say that, okay, it's a stressful process. We tend to be very natural and to make sure that the candidate is himself or herself in front of us, because we really want to know the people. We don't want to know them under stress. So we have our own approach when it comes to recruitment, which is, as I said, making sure that people are themselves, and this makes us know them better. In the onboarding process, there's a focus on a very high level of customer service that makes people feel welcomed and feel at ease when they join the organization. It becomes very smooth, very natural and flowing. And I think in the survey, if you look at the scores, we scored very high when it comes to recruitment and onboarding. But then going forward, it's very important also to use certain stimulus for different types of employees. As I said, culture makes a difference. An example for this is we know that in India, the culture is extremely competitive when it comes to education, when it comes to jobs when it comes to career progression. So you know that if you have high potential Indian employee, you know that you need to focus on career progression and how to develop them, because they would be very ambitious. Culture is also affecting us as a company that is originally Japanese, because if you take an American company, individualism is more important than collectivism. In our case, group is more important. So we reward the groups. While in an American company, someone who's performing very well, who's too ambitious, can grow up the career ladder. In a company like ours, personal relationships are also important, and being a positive teamwork player, not only an individual success. So there's a lot of aspects that you can look at when it comes to the cultural aspect. But I think that our talent process is helping us a lot when it comes to motivating and retaining employees.
I mean, it's amazing what you're saying, that how you're celebrating group efforts and
Yes.
people collectively coming together.
Yes.
Is there examples you can give of that? Because that's also very unique.
This is an ongoing thing. We always do this, Mona. I can give you examples, for example, about what we do with the engagement activities, because we are one of the companies that celebrate almost all the national celebrations, all the even local celebrations in different countries. We are very keen to give our employees the space to have these celebrations, and we enjoy it with them. We want to tell them that we know very well that this is something that is close to your heart. It is a tradition. You grow up with this, and you're part of the family. We will celebrate with you. So we have an annual calendar of different engagement events. I think this is one of the things that is also enhancing and maintaining a very good culture in the organization. When it comes to group reward, only recently we worked on a new kind of a scheme that rewards people based on the overall achievement of the company, not on the individual results. So we are always going in this direction. There are so many examples, of course, but I just wanted to share a couple of them with you.
That's great.
Thanks.
And when you're saying that you're celebrating every single culture in a way, then you must have a full calendar.
Yes, it is a full calendar. So you know that Diwali is coming. You know that Christmas has to be celebrated. The National Day. Yeah, it's a full calendar. Very active.
And do people learn from each other in such setups then?
I would say so. I would say so in an informal way. But we're also thinking in HR all the time about what can we do in order to come up with a structured approach so that people can really learn from each other. Recently, I was thinking about also introducing something to encourage our employees to learn from mistakes. So why don't we celebrate whatever happens, even it's wrong, and take the positive side by saying, okay, let's mitigate in the future. What can we do to make sure that this doesn't happen again? And this is part of a bigger psychological safety agenda that we are planning to work on.
That's exactly two statements that we have at Great Place to Work. You know, is this a psychological, emotional, healthy place to work?
Exactly.
And does management recognize honest mistakes as part of doing business?
Exactly.
So
exactly.
you just touched
That's spot on. Yeah.
And it's all about turning these mistakes into learnings at the end.
Yes. It's very important. I think that mistakes have to be allowed. Otherwise, people will not learn. So I believe there are many ways to do this. We're hoping that we will come up with our own structured way in order to encourage learning more.
Great.
Yeah.
And what would be one of the initiatives we could look forward to hearing about you in this coming 2025?
Yeah, I think there will be a number of things that we will have to work on. Now that we heard the voice of our employees, we are committed to get back to them with what are we going to do in order to address all these areas for improvements that they talked about in the survey. I would say that there are things that we already started talking about and thinking about. Although we didn't start yet our leadership workshops in order to build the overall action plan. But there are obvious things such as designing a women's leadership program. This is on the table. We're talking about this. We also want to focus our development on the middle management and frontline managers. It used to be focused on senior leaders in the past, and we think that we need to change the focus and make sure that we address everyone. There are many other processes that we want to look at, like how do we make sure that we have a more challenging process for coming up with promotion criteria? How do we stretch our people and get them out of the comfort zone? So many things that the survey is really helping us a lot in spotting. And our commitment to our employees is that we are going to work together as a leadership team in order to come up with an action plan that will be regularly communicated to everyone in terms of the follow-up and progress.
Oh, it sounds really good. I'm very excited to looking forward to hearing more news about you, because it sounds like
Thank
you
you.
already have ideas in place and
Yeah.
then things are about to happen.
We'll come back and share with you eventually.
Please, we need these stories as much
Sure,
as possible.
Sure,
Yeah.
Mona, thank you.
So one last question would be, what would you like to tell other companies who want to get Great Place to Work certified?
Yeah. Well, in order to be practical, I would say that, of course, there's no one size fits all. Each company has its own place, its own stage of its own evolution. So I wouldn't say that the same solutions would be suitable for all the organizations, but there are some basic things. If I look at what we did with our employees, I would say that one of the really most important things is to encourage people to become honest and to speak up their point of view, whether they have ideas, concerns. They have to share what they have in mind. This is very important. If we don't listen to people, then we don't know the pulse of the organization. I think that the management has to be genuine in addressing the cultural issues and working on improving the culture of the organization, because it affects the business after all. I mean, if you only focus on the numbers as a business, then it will not take you anywhere, because it's the people who are making the numbers. We have to start from the right starting point. So I think that candor, I think being genuine as a management team is key to the whole process. This is the main advice that I would give. Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming, Sherif. We really appreciate having you on board and looking forward to seeing all the successes coming forward.
Thank you very much, Mona. It was a pleasure to be with you today. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.